new rifle build. This is kind of my dream rifle. You know, I've showed a rifle here before that I've built, and that rifle was a good rifle. I've still got part of it. Don't have everything on it, but I still have some of it. But this is kind of the rifle that the end all be all for me. So stick with me, guys. We're going to go over the specs of this rifle. I'm going to show you the parts that's on it, talk about a few things, a few budget things that I did for this rifle, and a few things that I ended up paying out the wazoo for. So stick with me, guys. Let's look at it when we come back. Alright guys, so new AR-15 that I built. This rifle is by far the best rifle I've ever built, I've ever owned in my entire life. You know, you can go, and they're great. They're awesome rifles. I would love to have one. You can buy a complete Daniel Defense. You can buy a complete BCM, and they're great. They're wonderful. Those two companies are probably the best companies on the market next to Spikes Tactical. But you can build rifles that are really, really great too. If you put quality parts in, take your time, do the research, you can build rifles that are just as good as those rifles and probably save you a little money. Not much, but a little. So let's go over this rifle we'll start at the back and we'll go to the front. This rifle is a Spikes Tactical Daniel Defense build. It's got some more parts from some more companies on there, but the main meat and potatoes of this rifle is the Spikes Tactical and Daniel Defense. So I decided to build this rifle on a Spikes Calico Jack lower. This lower is really, really cool. It has the Pirates on it. It says Parlay on the safety, Plunder on the semi-auto, and if it was full auto, it says R where you flip it around to full auto. Of course, this gun is not full auto, it's just semi. But the lower was really, really cool. I bought this lower at my favorite local gun shop, and you can order these lowers from AIM Surplus for about 85 bucks, and they're free shipping. But then you got to pay a transfer fee. Well, my local gun shop here has them for $95 plus tax. So by the time you pay all the fees, I'm just as cheaper to buy here local, and I can go that day and get it. So I really like this lower. I wanted to do either a Spikes Tactical Spartan lower or a Spikes Tactical Punisher lower, or Calico Jack. This is what this one is. Calico Jack is what they had, so it's what I did. But I really do think it's cool. I can show you on this side the writing. See how it says Parlay, Plunder, and R. Really cool lower. Anybody that knows anything about Spikes Tactical knows they make high quality stuff. Their lowers are some of the easiest lowers to build on. Everything just goes right into place on them. But enough talk about that. Daniel Defense upper. This upper I actually bought from a buddy of mine. It was used. It had about 300 rounds through it. It had the big, bulky 9.5 FSP Daniel Defense quad rail and a big A2 front sight, and then the Daniel Defense bird cage. And that was fine. I ran it that way for a long time. It was good to go, but I really wanted something a little sexier, and a little lighter. So this is what I went with. In the back, we have a B5 Systems SOPMOD Bravo stock. B5 makes some of the best stocks that money can buy, in my opinion. They make a SOPMOD, just a standard SOPMOD that looks just like the LMT stocks, and they're a lot cheaper than the LMT stocks. But the B5 stocks are good to go. B5 pistol grip and B5 trigger guard. Now, you can buy all that stuff separate, and you'll spend about $60 on the stock, $60 on the grip, and $60 on the stock, $20 on the grip, and probably around $20 for the trigger guard. Palmetto State has this really cool thing that they do that's a build kit, and what you get is if you do a mag pull or a B5 or a standard, a standard setup, you'll get if you do a mag pull, you'll get a mag pull stock, mag pull grip, a mag pull trigger guard, and then a Palmetto State lower parts kit. I did the B5, and I got all this B5 stuff plus a lower parts kit from Palmetto State, and it cost me about $155 plus shipping. So it's a little cheaper than if you bought all of it separate and you get all the stuff that you want. So check Palmetto State Armory out for those lower build kits. For anything you need AR wise, they make great parts. they're good to go. And the first time I ordered anything from Palmetto State, it took a long time for them to ship. This stuff was here within like a week. So that's really, really good. They've really stepped their game up as far as that's concerned. I also come with the Castle Nut buffer spring, buffer tube. It come with all that. So you get everything you need to finish a lower. All you need is the strip lower itself, and you get everything else you need to finish it. Plus, you're not using standard stuff. You got some higher quality stuff. So enough about that. Magpul P-Mags. What other mag is there really to run? Magpul P-Mags are cheap. They're plentiful. They work. They're workhorses. They're very tough. So I run Magpul P-Mags. I love them. Bcm Mod 4 charging handle. It's the medium latch. An oversized charging handle. You can see it there. An oversized charging handle is a must when you on a defensive rifle, really any rifle, but on a defensive rifle for sure, because it's so much easier to run an oversized latch charging handle, and BCM makes the best. Voltor, I think, actually makes them. I think they're actually made by Voltor, but BCM branded. They're great, and they're about $45 usually. Let's see. Daniel Defense Bolt Carrier Group, Daniel Defense Upper, Daniel Defense Barrel, Daniel Defense Bird Cage, Daniel Defense Low Profile Gas Block, and Daniel Defense Gas Tube. This, like I said, was the Daniel Defense Upper I bought from my buddy. This is a 1-in-7 cold hammer forged chrome lined barrel. 1-in-7 twist rate. Toughest barrel you will buy by far. You know, a lot of times people will build a rifle and they'll put parts on it, and what they don't understand about an AR, your most important parts as far as reliability and accuracy is your bolt and your barrel. Really, truthfully, your bolt carrier group. If you had a high quality bolt in a semi-high quality bolt carrier group, it would be okay. But really, a good bolt carrier group and barrel is key to having a really good rifle. The rest of the parts can be mediocre, but if you have a good bolt carrier group and a good barrel, you have a good rifle. So when you're building your rifles, guys, be sure that you put quality parts like your barrel and your bolt carrier group. Make sure you don't spare any expense on those. Those are the parts that really count. So, Daniel Defense Bolt Carrier Group, Daniel Defense Barrel. Second to the Daniel Defense Bolt Carrier Group that I really, really love is the BCM Bolt Carrier Group. But this was already here because I bought the upper, so it's what I'm going to run. Troy Flip Up Battle Sights. Kind of give you a little angle here. Troy Battle Sights. Troy Flip Up Battle Sights. Now my rear sight is LaRue. It's branded LaRue, but it's made by Troy. It's the same thing. The Troy Battle Sights are all steel construction. They bolt up really well. They're easy to mount. They're easy to sight in. They're hardcore sights, man. You're not going to just break them off. I thought about going with the Magpul Imbus sights. I even thought about the Imbus Pros. The Imbus Pros are great, but I like the Troys, and so that's what I went with. Now the Troys are a little more expensive. I've probably got $170, $180 set up in this sights, but they're awesome. They're well worth the money. Sight picture is if you're used to the A2 sight picture, then the Troy sights give you that. So you don't have to really get used to a new sight picture. So that's another thing I like about the Troys. Let's see. BCM, 15-inch BCM Kmr Handguard. This thing is killer. This is the thing I was probably the most excited about in the whole build. This handguard, it's like less than 8 ounces with the barrel nut and everything. It's the lightest handguard probably on the market right now. It is awesome. Now, I couldn't get it cheap. I couldn't find no deals on it. So I paid about $276 for it on AIM Surplus. But I did get it with free shipping, so I didn't have to pay any shipping on it. And I also bought and put this Daniel Defense low profile. I don't know if I can get it. There's kind of where you can see it. Daniel Defense low profile gas block on here. I like whatever barrel I'm using. I like to try to use the same branded gas block because I know it's going to fit very well and not going to have any problems with it. So, and it's also got a Daniel Defense gas tube. This is a carbine length gas system. I would have liked to have gotten a mid-length, but carbine length was what it is, and it's really not an issue. Mid-length shoots a little softer, but this rifle won't, it doesn't beat you to death. I mean, we're talking 5.56, so it's not too bad. Daniel Defense bird cage, that's going to end up getting changed out for an AAC Blackout 51T comp, but that's down the road, so that's going to happen though. Bushnell TRS 25 red dot. I don't know if I've reviewed this dot before. If I haven't, I need to. It's a good little red dot. It's very cheap. You can buy it with the mount on Amazon for about 80 bucks, and it's tough, man. I have beat this little dot. I have spray painted it, tried to get the spray paint off of it. I've beat it to death. I've thrown the rifle down with it. It just holds zero. It's good to go. I've left it on, forgot, and it's still got the original battery in it. So, real good little dot for the money. And last but not least, I ran single point sling for a long time. Single point slings they're great. They're good to go. They just are not very comfortable. If you run a sling for a very long amount of time, a single point is just not very comfortable. So being out on the range all day or pilling around, you know, whatever, I wanted something that was a little more comfortable. So I went with the Way of the Gun Proctor Sling. Frank Proctor designed this sling. I think maybe Troy might be the ones that's actually building it, but it's 1-inch webbing, so it's got plenty of strength there. It's fully adjustable, so you can, when you're wearing the sling, you can loosen it up to come up and run the gun. You can tighten it up to sling it. It's fully adjustable. But the cool thing about the sling is, whereas other slings you have to have QD mounts or, you know, some kind of clips on it that clip into somewhere, this thing uses 550 cord to sling to your rifle. So you loop the 550 cord, lash it back down on itself, make a little loop on this other end, tighten it around your rail, and it's good to go. It's there. Frank Proctor teaches for a living. He runs one every day, and he never has no trouble with it. The only thing that I did read and hear, I read and then I watched on video, was some people saying that you need to be sure that you don't mount it on your gas block, because it could get hot enough to melt the 550 cord. But other than that, man, it's good to go. I don't think I'll ever have any problems with it. And if I do, I can buy some QD mounts, take the 550 mounts off, and put a QD mount on it, and it's good to go. Then I can just mount it into a QD slot. But really good sling, and it's cheap. That's another thing. You know, the Magpul slings are pretty expensive. The Proctor sling can be had for 29 bucks plus shipping. So less than $40, you can have it shipped to your house. That's really cheap. Good deal. So anyways, guys, this is my rifle. This is my new baby. I do have 2 more lowers now that I've got to build rifles for. It's the way it goes. I had my other rifle had a spikes lower on it, but I wanted to go all black. I had painted the other one. I wanted to go all black, and so I decided I'd spend $100 and I'd go ahead and build a new lower. So now I have a complete lower that I've got to build a rifle on, and I've got a strip lower that I've got to build a rifle for. So I'm going to be doing some videos about some other rifles that I'm building later on down the line, probably much later on down the line. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate any comments or questions you have. Put them in the comments box below. Appreciate all the support I get here on the channel as always. And y'all be safe.